Međunarodni filmski festival Berlinale uz poneko slavno filmsko ime dogodio se 74. put u zapaljivom kontekstu u pozadini sukoba na Bliskom istoku, Ukrajini, Sudanu i uz proteste protiv ekstremne desnice u Nemačkoj, ali i uz intenzivne boje Afričkog kontinenta. Aktuelni događaji obojili su 10 dana festivala koji je u svetu punom sukoba bio mesto dijaloga i inkluzije. Prvi put u istoriji Berlinala predsjednica žirija bila je afričkog porekla, oskarovka Lupita Njongo, koju je proslavio film 12 godina ropstva. U tom duhu pobednica 74. Berlinala koja je osvojila Zlatnog medveda za najbolji film je francusko-senegalska rediteljka Mati Diop sa dokumentarcem Dahomey, koji je bio jedan od 20 filmova iz 13 zemalja koji se takmičio za nagrade. Nakon prošlogodišnjeg pobednika filma Na brodu Adaman Nikolasa Filibera, to je drugi put zaredom da dokumentarni film pobeđuje na Berlinskom festivalu.
The Golden Bear for Best Film goes to the movie Dahomey by Mati Diop.
The present moment is a harsh one for us. To each and every one of us, a question is being asked and asked personally. We can either get rid of the past as an unpleasant burden that only hinders our evolution, or we can take the responsibility of it, using it as a basis to keep us moving forward. You have to choose. As a French Senegalese woman, as an Afro-descendant filmmaker, I have chosen. We are among those who refuse to forget. We are among those who refuse to accept amnesia as a method. I stand in solidarity with my people of Senegal, fighting for democracy, fighting for justice. Thank you.
Mati Diop je ovim trijumfom ušla u istoriju kao prva rediteljka afričkog porekla koja je osvojila Zlatnog medveda. Podsjetimo i da je prva Afrikanka koja je na Kanskom festivalu 2019. dobila Grand Prix za film o izbegličkoj krizi Atlantik. No vratimo se njenom dokumentarističkom eseju sa Berlinala u kome se bavi pitanjem restitucije umetničkih dela ukradenih u Afričkom kraljevstvu Dahomey za vreme kolonijalizma. Radi se o 30 opljačkanih skulptura koje je francuska država iz parijskih muzeja vratila u zemlju porekla, Zapadnoafričku republiku Benin.
Ma culture, mon éducation, ma vie, mon âme est restée à l'extérieur pendant des siècles. Est-ce que vous comprenez?
Čast da otvori festival pripala je sada već Oskarovcu Cillianu Murphyu, zvezdi filma Oppenheimer, ali ovoga puta harizmatični Irac predstavio se sa najnovijim filmom Svete sitnice, snimljenom po međunarodnom bestselleru Claire Kigana u režiji Tima Milanca, glumca koji je za ulogu u Oppenheimeru bio nominovan za Oskara i koji je sa Murphyjem već sarađivao u seriji Birminghamska banda.
I really wanted to work with Tim again after working with Tim on Peaky Blinders Series 3, and I knew he was a real, true artist, and we got on really, really well, and he's such a phenomenal director, and we were trying to find a project that we wanted to work on, and he called over to me in Dublin, and we were just throwing things around, and then it was actually my wife, I think, said, well, what about Claire Keegan? And then I had read the book, I think, but I didn't realize that the rights were available.
Thank God you came when you did, Ben. We'll have some tea.
I'll not, Mother.
Sve te sitnice dirljiva su priča o nadi, tihom herojstvu i empatiji, a u isto vreme i proslava saosećanja i stroga kritika grehova učinjenih u ime religije. A priča se bavi irskim takozvanim magdalenskim praonicama, azilima koje je vodila katolička crkva i u kojima su takozvane pale devojke držane kao roblje. Te strašne institucije radile su od 20. godina 19. veka sve do 1996. Za ulogu časne sestre, britanska glumica Emily Watson dobila je nagradu za sporednu žensku ulogu.
Sometimes a role falls into your lap where you have to tap into something that's more powerful than you are. And this was one of those. And it also gave me a front row seat watching Cillian Murphy unravel, which was truly a privilege. So I have a very profound thank you to the jury. Thank you for acknowledging this film and my work in it. And to Cillian for having me. I think he had a dream that I was going to be in the movie, and so here I am.
The Silver Bear Jury Prize goes to L'Empire by Bruno Dumont.
Naučno-fantastična farsa Bruna Dimona Carstvo, koja je osvojila nagradu žirija, spada među ekscentričnije filmove 74. Berlinala, čiju je završnicu francuski reditelj, scenarista, povremeno i glumac učinio aktuelnom i zanimljivom. Nakon što mu je na svečanosti uručena nagrada, odlučio je da pobednički govor prepusti veštačkoj inteligenciji.
First of all, it's really great that a film like this can still get through the narrow door of the new archaic modernity. Because
Reditelj, poznat po stilu koji kombinuje vizualnu inventivnost s dubokim društvenim i političkim temama, u Carstvu je napravio svoju verziju naučno-fantastične epske priče o invaziji vanzemaljaca na obali severne Francuske, gde se lokalna zajednica suočava sa kosmičkom bitkom dobra i zla.
Vous avez pas vu un ovni?
Un quoi?
Un ovni.
Can you elaborate on the symbolism behind these opposing forces and their impact on the human condition?
En fait, le film explique pourquoi nous sommes brassés par les forces du bien et du mal. Pourquoi la nature humaine est sujette à cette lutte du bien et du mal, qui est c'est la condition humaine. Donc il invente une histoire fabuleuse, extraordinaire, de deux forces qui étaient séparées et qui, venant sur Terre, se sont mélangées. Donc c'est comme un mythe qui vous raconte pourquoi le monde est comme il est.
La gendarmerie sur le coup. Mais les humains, Johnny, sont nuls.
Film ostavlja prostor za različita tumačenja, a glumačku postavu, osim francuske zvezde Fabrisa Lukinija, čini veliki broj naturščika, ali i harizmatične francuske glumice Ana Maria Bartolomei i Lima Kondri.
Tu veux que je te la dégage? Utilisons la force, on a la sagesse.
Jane is described as a warrior devoted to her queen. Can you discuss Jane's mission and her motivations in the film?
Jane est un soldat du bien, envoyé sur la Terre pour tenter de décapiter le Marga, alias le mal absolu, le démon ultime, afin de sauver l'humanité.
C'est quoi ça? C'est une belle bande de losers. C'est peu de le dire. On s'en prend plein la gueule.
Lynn struggles between her human and demonic halves. How did you approach portraying this internal conflict?
C'était beaucoup par le corps, où fallait par moments sentir qu'elle n'était pas humaine et par moments oublier qu'elle n'était pas humaine. Et il fallait chercher cette envie urgente pour elle de devenir un membre de cette terre, de cette planète Terre, et qu'elle trouve sa place.
À la bataille! Les 4 Viennes, mon empire!
Mr. Martin Skorseze.
When you become obsessed with an art form, when you live it, when you have to be on your own, you have to be on your own. That's the lonely part. But it's so important to remember that even though it's lonely, that you're part of a community. And that community of people is driven by an obsessive love with this art called cinema. And the work that we do individually is part of a great, ongoing, ultimately endless conversation. Endless. Endless and timeless. And I really feel that I've been blessed to have taken part in that conversation for most of my life now. And as for looking back on my work, I mean, I don't know, I can't. I guess somebody else can, the way Vim was able to put it so beautifully together tonight. But I can't, partly because I really do seem to keep wanting to make pictures. So maybe I'll see you in a couple of years, I hope, another one. Thank you.
Film ne umire, samo se menja, poručio je u Berlinu kada mu je uručen počasni i zlatni medved za životno delo legendarni Martin Skorseze, jedan od najuticajnijih reditelja u svetskoj kinematografiji i najuspešnijih hollywoodskih producenata. Dovoljno je samo pomenuti antologiju poput Taksiste, Razjerenog bika ili filma Dobri momci. Skorseze je od 1967. režirao 26 igranih filmova, među kojima i dokumentarci.
I used to get excited by the different logos of the different British film companies. But there was one which held out a very special promise. That was the target of the archers. That heralded a Powell Pressburger film.
Na Berlinalu se predstavio i kao izvršni producent i narator dokumentarnog filma Made in England, filmovi Powella i Pressburgera, a koji je režirao britanski reditelj Dejvid Hinton. Producirala ga je i Skorsezeova najbliža saradnica Telma Šunmejker, trostruka dobitnica Oskara za montažu, koja više od 4 decenije sarađuje sa Martinom Skorsezeom. Montažerka je svih njegovih filmova, a Oskarom je nagrađena za Razjerenog bika, Avijatičara i Dvostruku igru.
It was on this program called $1 Million Movie, which showed the same film all week, twice every evening, and 3 times on the weekend. But the thing was that I was hypnotized by it.
How was it working with such an iconic director, Martin Skorsese, but this time in front of the camera?
Well, Thelma works with Marty all the time, has done for 50 years, is it?
But you created a script from everything. Yeah. Talk about that, because that's a major thing that you did on this.
Well, for me, you know, it couldn't be more exciting, because for me, he's the greatest living film director, you know, so it was a real honor to be able to work with him. But he had a deep love for Michael and the films of Powell and Pressburger, so he was, you know, he put his heart and soul into working on this thing. And I suppose it was a real collaboration, the way we worked on it.
Telma, you have been a long-time collaborator of Martin Skorsese. How did your previous experience, insights, and experiences contribute to the project?
Well, I share, of course, Scorsese's great love for Powell and Pressburger, and we have talked about it. He has shown me all their films, so I was very much prepared to do the best possible with. One of the problems we had is trying to reduce a masterpiece to 10 minutes or 15 minutes. It's really hard.
And even now, music and images from that picture often run through my mind.
Kristen Stjuart bila je među retkim hollywoodskim zvezdama na 74. Berlinalu, koja je izazvala masovnu pažnju medija. Pre deceniju i po svet je tresla groznica sumrak sage, zahvaljujući kojoj Kristen Stjuart i danas uživa svetsku slavu. Jedna od najtalentovanijih i najsvestranijih glumica svoje generacije, mnogim likovima udahnula je život od Belle Swan do princeze Diane. Glumila je u filmovima velikana Woodya Allena, Dejvida Finchera, a sada i u najnovijem ostvarenju kontroverzne rediteljke Rose Glass.
You talked to your dad recently?
Why?
Posle Sundance festivala, gde je imao svetsku premijeru, triler koji je svojevrstan omaž američkim klasicima iz 80. godina prošlog veka, Ljubav, laži, krvarenje, evropsku premijeru imao je na 74. Berlinalu.
What were you doing with that big girl?
Kristen, looking back at your career with a diverse range of roles, how has your approach to selecting roles evolved? And what attracts you in particular projects now compared to earlier in your career?
I've always just been instinctively driven towards, first of all, jobs that I get, because actors don't always get to choose those. But as I've grown up and worked more and gotten lucky enough to have some volition and choice and sort of can like design my career, I've never done that. I'm pretty like shoot from the hip, kind of down to make mistakes, down to work with first-time filmmakers, people that, you know, I'm not concerned about making like perfect movies. For me, it really is, it's really fun when something lands and you like it and the result is something that you can kind of separate from yourself and just enjoy. But it's the experience of talking to the people that are making the movies and being there and experiencing those scenes and actually creating sort of like personal memories out of them. I'm never trying to get like away from myself to play a character. I'm actually trying to like get closer. So I've chosen, it hasn't changed. It's always been the same. I've been lucky enough to do this since I was like 10. And I still feel very much that the reason I want to do it is the same reason.
What is this place? Huh? You don't understand.
Reč je o neo-noir queer filmu sa elementima fantastike, čija se radnja odvija u okruženju nasilja, intriga, teretane, ženskog bodybuildinga. Akteri su nepoznata strankinja koja dolazi u ruralni gradić u Nevadi, usamljena žena koja sanjari o begu iz te sredine, Kristen Stjuart uvek sugestivna u tumačenju, i njen otac, koga kao klasičnog negativca sjajno portretiše Ed Harris, dodajući dubinu priči.
A bit more powerful than a punch, huh?
The film Love Lies Bleeding explores themes of love, ambition, and self-transformation, and presents unique portrayal of female characters. How do you see Lou contributing to this narrative exploration?
Well, she's sort of at the very center of the film, and Lou starts off as somebody who kind of really thinks she knows who she is and is like kind of self-protective and isolated and kind of turned off willfully. And she's awoken by this like a sort of sight that she's never taken in before. A woman kind of rolls through town and I don't know, stirs her up, shows her that, you know, that you can be audacious and huge and take up more space than most women take up in that town of hers. And yeah, I think she's just like turned on and inspired and like all of a sudden feels like she wakes up.
I fucking love you, you idiot. I love you too.
Rose, the concept of the female bodybuilder as a central point of the film is really unique. What inspired you to explore this territory?
I think it just seemed like psychologically really interesting territory to explore, and I was interested in what the sort of traits would be of somebody who can sort of have the discipline and obsessiveness to do something like bodybuilding. And I guess the more I looked into it, the more I started to think it's just a, I don't know, really anarchic, beautiful, strange sort of art form, really, as much as it is a sport. It's sort of, it's all about kind of, you know, getting incredibly strong, but for purely aesthetic purposes. It's kind of a bit weird and contradictory and quite strange. I just found it fascinating.
You'll regret this.
Oh yeah?
Oh, fuck.
Nakon potpunog odsustva, afrički kontinent je na 74. Berlinalu predstavljen sa čak 3 filma, među kojima je bio i Crni čaj, a koji potpisuje mauritanski reditelj Abderrahman Sissako, čiji je film Timbuktu iz 2014. bio nominovan za Oskara. Ovoga puta snimio je poetičnu priču o mladoj ženi iz obale Slonovače, koja na dan venčanja izgovara ne i odlazi u Kinu u potrazi za novim životom.
喝茶在我们东方又叫做品茶，我们一杯茶可以用3口来喝。一品在静，静指的是环境；二品在味。
La rencontre entre Aya, qui est de la Côte d'Ivoire, et les autres personnes en Chine, il y a cette différence de culture, mais j'ai l'impression, dans mon ressenti, moi, c'est plutôt les différences d'expérience, de vie. Les différentes blessures qui se retrouvent pour guérir ensemble, pour faire un trajet de quête de soi qui permettent de se connaître mieux et de grandir. La culture, les rencontres de différentes cultures, c'était une chose nourrissante pour les différents personnages et surtout les rencontres des intériorités.
我从你的眼睛可以看得出来。 有人在爱着你，那就让你很幸福。
Kroz ljubavne romanse između pripadnika različitih kultura, reditelj u filmu Crni čaj kreira priču sastavljenu od kulturnih i tradicionalnih elemenata starosedelaca i manjinskih grupa koje su se naselile u jednoj kineskoj četvrti. Sa slikovitim i senzualnim segmentima posvećenim kulturi ispijanja čaja u Kini, ovaj film predočava sve lepote multikulturalnosti.
这味道好特别。
我喜欢这个味道。
我也是。
The use of Nina Simone's song, Feeling Good, is a recurring motive in the film. Could you discuss the significance of this song and how it encapsulates the themes and message of your film?
Nina Simone est une grande chanteuse, mais c'est surtout une femme qui s'est battue beaucoup dans la vie, qui a été victime de beaucoup d'injustices. Et donc elle a cette personnalité qu'on trouve dans toutes ses chansons. Feeling Good en particulier associe la vie de Aya, parce que quand tu dis non, c'est it's new day, it's new life. Et donc elle part. Pour moi, c'est important non pas de coller la musique à la scène, parce que c'est une musique très connue, mais la voix de Fatoumata Diawara, qui est une grande chanteuse, qui chante en bambara, était importante parce que c'est Aya qui part, c'est Aya qui est libre, etc.
我们要如何有个美好的未来？
La
74. Berlinale ispisao je istoriju kao festival na kome su prvi put Afrikanke ocenjivale filmove i odnele pobedu. Nažalost, ostaće upamćen po takozvanim filmovima iz ćoškova koji su se takmičili za nagrade i kao festival koji je ove godine bio bleda senka ranijih izdanja, a tada je Berlinale bio tik uz Kan i Veneciju. Možda sledeće godine, dolaskom nekog novog selektora, dobije i novu šansu.